The federal government now says that what is believed to be drones are actually manned aircrafts. Really? The Defense Department acknowledging there's been sightings of drones over 2 military installations in New Jersey. Now, Homeland officials, they're saying that federal authorities are taking action and deploying extra resources.
There's no question that people are seeing drones, and I want to assure the American public that we in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings.
A lot of Americans are asking why, Mills, there's not a clear answer on these drones. They're fed up with the lack of transparency. So what more have you learned about what the secretary said on this issue?
Hey, Adrienne. Well, Secretary Mayorkas once again reiterated that they know of no foreign involvement with these drones and they're not aware of any danger to the U.S. He says that the Department of Homeland Security is limited in their authority to disable these drones. He says that there are some agencies within the Department of Homeland Security and outside that department that can stop the drones, but Mayorkas says those authorities need expanding.
We want state and local authorities to also have the ability to counter drone activity under federal supervision. That is one important element that we have requested, and we've heard it echoed by the state and local officials themselves.
And you heard that right there. Mayorkas says that they have requested more tools because that's been something that's been requested by state and local officials. Government officials also say that many of these drone sightings, as you mentioned, Adrienne, have been manned aircrafts and not drones.
Is there anything else that they're asking for?
Well, really, they just want answers. Who is flying these drones? Why are they being flown? And why is the government not giving them any answers? So after the drone sighting that shut down a New York airport on Friday night for about an hour, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, took to X to say that the federal government needs to grant states the powers to deal with the drones directly. A federal drone detection system has been sent to New York, but Hochul says they need more support. She says Congress must pass a law that gives states the power to deal with drones directly themselves. Senator Chuck Schumer, sounding out today on X, says that Secretary Mayorkas should send special drone detection technology to New Jersey as well. He also says that he's working to pass a bill in the Senate that would give local law enforcement more tools for drone detection. President-elect Trump has chosen Florida Representative Mike Waltz as his next national security advisor, and he had this to say earlier.
We need to know who's behind it. But right now, I think law enforcement seems to be the Department of Homeland Security and the Defense Department are kind of all doing this and pointing at each other.
And Representative Jim Hines from Connecticut previously served as the ranking member of the House Intelligence Agency. He told Fox News Sunday that he can say with confidence that the drones are not related to Iran, China, or aliens. He also says that this is not the beginning of an attack on the American homeland. So, Adrienne, will Congress make it a priority to give local and state law enforcement more authority when it comes to these drones? We're just going to have to wait and see.
All right, Mills Hayes, thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.